And welcome back to Spiral Tree Entertainment, where we have just another review of everybody's favorite chick flick, Bring It On.
Except me and you are the only two people watching this movie right now who've seen it. The two women watching it with us have not seen it. So is this still considered a chick flick?
Yeah, that's a good point, because both Isla and Mary, who are watching this with us right now, have not seen this movie. And the opening scene in this movie, they expressed so many negative emotions that the only way to show you is for them to tell you, because it is true, women do not support other women in the slightest.
First of all, that cheer was not high school appropriate. Maybe university appropriate, but not high school appropriate. The things that these girls are talking about, they should not be talking about in front of their teachers, fellow peers, or parents. But they have the audacity to be grabbing their chest and making sure that everybody knows they're not ladies of the night. Thanks, YouTube.
Just look at Big Red. They call her Big Red and she's flaunting her chest around. They should call her non-existent Red. She's trying to flaunt those chesties like there's something there. I mean, just look at the guys around her. They're definitely not impressed. They don't want to be there. They've got nothing to be happy about. They kind of just look like they want to go home. Not gonna lie, I would be the same way as those boys.
So serious. Women do not support each other in the slightest when they don't like each other. And I don't think they're going to like anybody in this movie. What do you think, John?
No, I don't think they will. I genuinely do not think they will.
And after you realize that it's all a dream, you see our main character wake up, get out of bed, take a ride to school with her soon-to-be college boyfriend, Aaron. And the first thing I think of when I see this scene as they approach the high school is, man, is that not the obligatory shot of every single click that's required in every early 2000s chick flick? Every single one of them, without fail. Find me a singular movie that is a chick flick from the early 2000s where they do not have the scene where they show all the different clicks. If you can find me one, congratulations. Leave it in the comments down below. Send me one of your YouTube videos. I will hit the like button, and then I will resend my like, because you don't deserve it, but thank you anyway.
Also, why does this future frat boy park his car in the middle of the parking lot? Like, not in any parking space, but in the lot itself, blocking like 17 other people from being able to leave the high school. I don't like the energy that presents. Just park the car. Just park the car in the parking spot. Please, I beg you, please.
And then we get the obligatory locker scene where all the girls are being very itchy. Itchy is the word I'm going to use to each other, and I don't think YouTube will let me show the locker scene, so I'm not going to, just to be safe. So we're going to move on. We see Big Red complimenting herself on how she's turned all these people into amazing athletes, because she's the best athlete that has ever been at this school. Forever, always. And I feel like you need a long stretch. A really long stretch before you pat yourself on the back as hard as she's patting herself on the back. I mean, holy hell, people. People say I'm cocky, but I wish I was half as cocky as she was in this scene. Because if I was, I'd have 1 million subscribers on YouTube already. I'd be famous. While I'm talking about subscribers, just go ahead and go down there and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. You're welcome. And of course, after Big Red leaves, we find out that the new leader is going to be our main character, Torrance Shipman, a.k.a. Kristen Dunst, a.k.a. Mary Jane Watson, as her first action of being team leader is to do a wolf's wall. Supposedly the hardest thing to do in cheerleading, but looks like something that with 45 minutes of practice, me and my out-of-shape friends could lift, John, and do. I think that's a great idea. We might record that someday. Maybe. Never. He's shaking his head. He's telling me never. And I don't blame John for shaking his head, because immediately afterwards, that girl breaks her neck, leg, a bone. It's a bone. I don't know what bone, but it's a bone. They cover her neck with a cast, but apparently she broke her leg. It's insane. So there was no real actual connecting thread between these two bits because we did actually write something and we forgot it. This is future Isaiah here talking to you in the future. We forgot to record the connecting bit, and it's been about 3 months since we all watched this movie, and we're not all coming together to watch this movie again to record this bit. So you get this PSA. Don't get keratoconus and don't have to get 7 eye surgeries, and then you'll be fine. Continuing on. Thank you very much.
And we see their family. But oh God, all I can look at is this freaking kid who has the face of an 89-year-old geriatric patient. How do you look both 12 and 72 at the same time, young man? I bet your name is Billy. New Billy? Old Billy? Yeah, you're just Billy. Billy!
Oh, snap. Parent of the year over here. She's telling her child that they need to do more and more schoolwork because, you know, that extra Kim class will definitely look good on your high school transcript and it'll make you feel prepared and ready for college. That's an absolute lie. All it'll do is make you burned out and stop caring about school in general until you get halfway through your associate's degree, then go, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go work at McDonald's because at least flipping Big Macs makes me feel more satisfied than sucking my life away behind a school book. I didn't expect to get this emotional about a cheerleading movie.
So we meet Cliff, who is the obvious third member of an obligatory 2000s chick flick love triangle. But that doesn't matter because shortly after we meet Cliff, who is in fact a loser, don't let him convince you otherwise, we see the jocks do the funniest thing in this movie so far, which is tell the male cheerleader to malignant these and then grabs his jock. I feel so bad for those cheerleaders because they got de-nutsed in the year 2000. That's gotta hurt, man. That's really gotta hurt. So then we have the next scene that is in every single chick flick movie because chick flicks have boxes that need to be checked off. And it's the tryout scene, which has 17 different people come in for different reasons to not be able to do the tryouts, till we get to the final girl who has to be vastly different than all the other girls on the team, whether that's they're being too quirky or too nerdy, or in this movie's case, it's the bad girl. Look at those keys jangle. That's the one that's going to be on the team because that's the one that's on the box art. So after the initial hazing, because there's always hazing, she achieves the goal that was impossible to achieve from all the other girls. She does a million little backflips. And the other girls are like, wow, that's impressive. And then she joins the team because, again, she was on the box art. You should know that her name is above the title of the movie on the box art.
And what's really crazy is that after Missy shows up for the first cheer practice, Torrance then watches Missy leave, gets really upset, threatens to fight her, and then Missy is like, get in the car. And she's like, okay, yes, ma'am, I'll get in the car. Then they drive to a secondary location. And if you have never watched a single one of our videos by this point, you should know you never go to a secondary location. That's how you die. They're even going on the interstate. And Missy never tells Torrance where they're going. That's real sus.
And then they get to that secondary location, and you get to see the team called the Clovers. I had 3 thoughts come into my head at the same time when I saw these girls. Number 1, these girls are way prettier than the Toros team. 2, the aesthetic of their outfits are so much better. 3, can I just be with them for the rest of the movie? Do I have to go back to whatever small hick town we were in before? Can't we just stay in LA and follow the Clovers from now on?
I'm just laughing at the fact that they've been stealing the routines from them for like the entirety of their professional cheerleading career. And I'm just so proud that they felt like they could get away with pulling an Elvis in the year 2000. Like you steal everything from the African American culture and then you think you can get away with it. And eventually it all adds up and comes together and you end up with Macklemore. Nobody wants Macklemore. I didn't want Macklemore. You didn't want Macklemore. Now we're all shopping at thrift shops trying to rock your granddad's clothes. It's just a bad time. And after they decide that cheating is cool and that they're going to keep doing the same routines anyway, we see the main character is trying to get in contact with her boyfriend. Can't get in contact with her boyfriend. They pick up missing. It takes forever to get in the car. And I would be upset too because nobody cares about your self-confidence, Missy. Just get in the car. They're going to a football game. You're going to make us late. And when they get to the football game, they find out that the Toros are indeed the worst football team in the league, I can't help but notice that the stands are packed for this football team. So, John, is this what it feels like to be a Detroit Lions fan?
No, we are still pumped about the start of the game, no matter how bad the game is going to be. And trust me, this is a bad football game. They are the Toros. If you're going to run it, someone please drop your shoulder when you hit them. No wonder you guys suck. Why don't you have a coach that knows football? Who's coaching your football team? Because clearly they need to be fired. You're in a higher income area. I know your school can afford a football coach. My school was able to afford a football coach when I played in a military base in middle school. It was our dad's, though.
But you know how it is. The football team loses and the cheer squad is cheering and they're doing the stolen cheers. But guess who's there? The Clover Squad. Everybody loves the Clover Squad. As they reveal the entire cheer squad is frauds and everyone is like, now we need a new cheer because we've been served in front of the general audience. Remember, embarrassment and shame is the only things in the modern age that will cause any change in this world. If you remember nothing, remember that. That is the life lesson that you should take away from this extremely problematic film. But they come to the right decision and realize that they need a new routine. So Torrance gets a hold of her boyfriend, who's obviously cheating on her. He's in college now. That never works out. And he tells her that they should hire a choreographer. Gives them the choreographer's number. And they're like, we need $2,000. Ask your daddy. And one of the team members is like, I can get $500. So they need $1,500 because that's quick maths. So what does the early 2000s movie decide to do?
A bikini car wash, which feels wrong because all of these actors who aren't kids in real life are playing kids in the movie. And it just feels like a Jared's Playhouse. And it's just not a good feeling. You shouldn't feel that way at all. Why were these a thing? And why are they still a thing? Just wear black t-shirts and some Bermuda shorts instead or something. I don't know. Or here's an idea. People could just stop being creeps.
And then we meet the choreographer, and he's a total jerk. He starts breaking down all the women by their looks, general demeanor, and insecurities. He doesn't do that to any of the men, though, because that's not allowed at any point in any time in history. You can't make fun of men. And all I think while he's shutting these women up with a single flick of his wrist is, man, this is real big cult leader energy. Huge cult leader energy. And over the next couple of days, he teaches them all the power of spirit fingers. If you just wave your fingers fast enough, you'll create gold. That's the alchemic formula for gold. Spirit plus fingers times speed over velocity equals gold. That's how you do it. Just shake your hips, shake your fingers, make that gold, make that money. That's how you win at life, by having spirit, gold, and money.
And during the cheering qualifiers, we see the Clovers absolutely kill it. They destroy the room. It was all on, just a great time for everybody in the room. As the returning champions have an interview on the news, they see that their routine has been stolen. They claim it's a curse. I believe it's just karma. What goes around comes around. I think it's funny. Ha.
Also, another thing that I just noticed that I hope that you have all noticed is that the main school logo is RCH, as they are the rich school. I just wanted to point out that little tidbit for you all. Rich kids versus poor kids. The poor kids should win, but that's not how these movies go usually. So I predict the rich kids are going to win. But I just want to point it all out so you're aware.
And it turns out that the good old cult leader was a grifter and sold the same routine to 6 other teams who put it in. But at the end of the day, the Toros were guaranteed a bid to Florida no matter what they did in this round. So why have them show up and dance in the first place? What is the actual point of having them show up? If they have a bid straight to the finals, it makes no sense to me. Oh, but the audience just wants to see them like move their bodies. Bump the audience. Nobody cares about audiences. Nobody cares about how the audience feels. It's all about the talent. The talent's what's important. The talent is what matters. And that's why I'm watching what I want to watch, not what you want to watch. That's why we're watching Bring It On. I chose this movie, not you, and you came here to watch me. But then they have a little confrontation, because I should get back to the movie instead of insulting you guys. They have a confrontation with Big Red and Aaron, and Big Red's like, the biggest mistake of my whole cheerleading career was not stealing cheers, but electing you as the leader. Because that's what all entitled people do. They steal stuff and blame others.
Then even her boyfriend's like, yo, maybe you should give up. You kind of suck at this. You should let those two itchy girls do it now, because politics. Now, let me give you the puppy eyes to take you back to my car. My God, I hate the way this guy looks. He looks like such a tool. Looks like his name shouldn't be Aaron, it should be Chad. He should just be pounding monsters. He picks apart girls' hopes and dreams until they feel vulnerable enough to settle with someone as significant and as inferior as him. All he's missing is the old muscle car or sports car. Just a bad vibe. He doesn't pass the vibe check at all.
And who's waiting there at the house but the right guy, Cliff? As he left her a little care package, as it's a 2000s chick flick, as he leaves them flowers and some mixtapes, and the mixtape has this pop punk song. I don't know about you, but if someone wrote me a pop punk song and played all of the instruments, I don't know, man, just kind of like let him look at it or something. He's doing something right there.
Because if you could get a girl to do the whitest white girl dance possible in her room alone, you know that means she cares about you in some way. Because look at that dance. I'm a white girl, and I don't even dance that haphazardly. I can't dance. But even I see this dance as so offbeat, yet on beat. How can you match the rhythm but not match the tempo? It's insane. It takes a special set of skills to do something like that.
And they realize that maybe at some point that they should actually use the talent that they have. So how do you solve an issue of having talent but no skill to back that talent? You do a montage, a very simple montage that goes over all the things that you're going to be doing. You study ballet, you study martial arts, musicals, all forms of dancing. You study astronomy. You learn the movements of the planets. Become a master at marine biology. You learn the movement of dolphins. You get super into bees for a while. You know, because bees dance. They do the little wiggle wiggle. And then it's all in the montage. And on top of that, you learn how to mime. Because at the end of the day, if you lose, you can just put your enemy in an invisible box and poke no holes in it. And when they pass out, nobody's going to ask any questions. Who would? You had the powers to put them in an invisible box. At that point, nobody's going to ask any questions.
And somewhere during that montage, Tor goes up to Brad Chadwich's dorm to find him cheating and finally breaks up with him. And then she's having that feeling, you know, that all girls in 2000 chick flicks get, that intense draw to the other boy, because that's what matters. That's what dictates every woman's life. A man. That's why this movie does not pass the Bechdel test. There is not a singular scene without a man in some way. Why do people like chick flicks? I don't understand. Please, somebody tell me.
And with the power of white guilt, Torrance begs her daddy to get his company to sponsor the inner city team to come to the tournament. And you know what? If I were the leaders of the Clovers here, and someone offered me a whole bunch of money to go cheer, to go do the thing that I was already going to do, I don't think I would have the personal integrity not to take that check, cash it at the bank. Good on you for having integrity. Good on you for ripping that check up and showing that you're better than the people who pity you. But I like money. And I like money more than I like being happy sometimes. So you bet your sweet, sweet little ass I would cash that check all the way to the bank before they would had the audacity to change their minds. But they get their money from the TV lady, which I don't know if that's more selling out or less selling out, because imagine selling out to television. That's a type of sellout that I don't think I'd feel comfortable with. But then you find out that they're selling out to go to Daytona, Florida? I've been to Daytona. I go to Daytona all the time. There's nothing worthwhile in Daytona besides people driving without their licenses because they have 17 DUIs. There's like 57 bars with 92 drug dealers and a nice place on Wednesday nights where you can go see open mic comedy. And there's nothing else unless you like NASCAR. And if you like NASCAR, give me a second. I'm going to have to translate that whole paragraph for you. Here we go. Vroom, left turn, vroom, Dale Earnhardt Jr., big wheel, Axel, Left Turn, That's a Wall, Jimmy Stewart, I Say You He Dead, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And when they get to the cheer finals, it's the Clovers and the Rich School. They sort of meet together and they have a confrontation that leads to a sense of understanding. Because at the end of the day, you can hate each other, but you got to respect each other. You got to understand that you both worked very hard to get here, just in very different ways, and there has to be that level of respect that comes from it. And when they go through and do the routines, I'll be honest with you, both routines were very good. They both deserve to be in the finals. And we're getting to that big climactic payoff that comes in every chick flick from the early 2000s. And you may think the winners of the tournament is going to be the team that we've been following throughout the entirety of this movie. But the rules of movies will not let this team win. You may want Torrance and her squad to win, but there's a whole different film out there where you're following the East Compton Clovers through their whole inspirational journey. Their coach probably quit on them. They probably had some street struggles. You remember the Titans? It's Remember the Titans, but these girls are okay. It's like Stand By Me meets Remember the Titans. That's the movie that happened behind the scenes for all the struggles that they went through for them to be able to win this movie. Also, Torrance gets to kiss Cliff, so she gives him the most aggressive kiss possible in front of everyone. And then it's an early 2000s film, so we got to end with that big dance-off closing sequence. Yeah! And that is the end of the movie Bring It On. I don't know, besides all the problematic stuff like the name-calling of words that shouldn't be repeated in the year 2023 and all the misogyny and homophobia in this film, what do you guys think? How do you guys enjoy this classic chick flick?
It definitely belonged in the year 2000. Like 100%. It has no business now at all.
What about you, Isla?
There were parts of it that I found kind of heartwarming, but all the parts that I found heartwarming were definitely overshadowed by all the homophobia of the movie. Plus, all of the heartwarming moments were all very predictable.
What about you, Mary?
I liked the main message of the movie, but there was so many things that are just so outdated. I know this movie was released in like 2000 or 2001. I don't freaking remember. But all the misogyny and homophobia is just, wow.
It's funny when you point out one thing and that's all that people can think about. But at the end of the day, this movie definitely belonged in the 2000s. There's so much offhanded homophobia, underlying misogyny, and predictable movie story structure that's common in every early 2000s chick flick. Without fail, all of them have these same similarities. They're all at some point problematic, but if you could ignore the problems of the times, probably sit down and you'd be able to enjoy this movie. But you should know that if you want to watch Bring It On, you don't have to. You don't have to waste the $15. You could just come back here to Spiral Tree and watch this Just Another Review. And with that, we've been Spiral Tree Entertainment. Give a round of applause for Mary in her first video. If you liked what we did here at Spiral Tree, make sure to hit the like button down below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Leave us a comment down below about all your problems with the Bring It On franchise.
And with that, we will see you next time.